In your confidence, I guarantee it, because I'm an expert on this kind of stuff, observing. Now, you're not Kenny Bernstein's son anymore. Even my kids will say, hey, you know what? His dad drove. Now Brandon Bernstein, there's a place for Brandon and for Kenny, and I think that's where your confidence is.
Well, thank you. I mean, that means a lot because, he's always told me to go out there and do the best and don't worry about what I've done and my accomplishments in my career. Just go out there and try and do the best that you can do, and, you're going to do well or not succeed, whatever it is, but it's going to be what you do.
Yeah, you know what, though? I mean, with the advent of the internet and everything, people can get so crazy and say things that they probably shouldn't, and that, like us, but that and fans out here, I know you've gotten your fair share, though, Brandon. You're not Kenny, or how are you going to live up to Kenny? Does that stuff eat at you? Does that bother you?
In the beginning, I heard it a lot, to be honest, but I never really let it get to me. I mean, I knew that, you just have to go out there and do the best you can do, and if people are going to enjoy your racing and think that you're a driver, then they're going to say that. If not, then so be it. But, I mean, I never let it get to me.
I think what Brandon came to the conclusion with, which he should, and I told him, was you got to do your own thing. Don't worry about what we've accomplished before you. It's up to you to prove your own way now. It's in your back pocket. You take care of it. I'm going to try to teach you everything I can to help you do it, but it's basically your program to go and do. So you make it what it is because it's up to you.
Whoa. He started with the light hair. He taught you about the hairstyle.
Absolutely. You're right about that, Class. And he taught me about spiking my hair. You're right.
Tell me that moment that you stopped being Kenny Bernstein and you started being Brandon's dad.
I'm not sure. I would think probably when he came to work full-time with us and was really busting his butt and taking all the crap that I'd give him, which was cleaning the toilets and everything. And I'm not kidding about that. He did it all. And never complained one time. Never complained once. I mean, it's
Was there one moment when it hit you and said,
no, I just looked up one day to myself and I said, well, this kid won't give up, number one, and number two is he doesn't complain. That's two good starts. Let's see what happens.
See, that's another thing. People think, oh, you were handed this ride.
No,
you got all this money. And people need to understand that, yes, you put your time in.
Exactly, and that's the way, Dad wanted it from the beginning, and that's the way I wanted it. I didn't want the silver spoon. Because people don't, there's no way.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you something. He's still a hired driver.
That's right.
When it gets down to it. He may be my son, but if he can't do it after a period of time, fair conditions, fair situations, if he can't drive, he won't be the driver.
And you'll get back in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I told you I missed it.
And on that note, Brandon, Kenny, thank you guys for coming in, man.
Yep.
Hey, guys, you're the best. Thank you.
Awesome.
It's been a big show.
I'm glad the fans get to look at you now. It's great.
Yeah.
But before you get out of here, I want one of these, Kenny. Give me one of these.
got it.
There
No
you
problem.
go, baby.
I'm a Texas horn, you bet.
There it is.
Here's my Aggie coming out in me right here.
Yeah, those championships that the Aggies have won.
Hey,
Give
come
him
on
one
now.
championship and he gets all excited.
That is Lug Nuts. That's Crash Gladys. I'm Kenny Sargent. Thank you, guys. Remember to shoot the juice to the moose and stat man.
Got it loose.
See ya.
Racing's greatest weekend reaches high gear. We're back home again to deliver milk to the Indy 500 winner. Mingling with the jet set to reach the podium at the Monaco Grand Prix. And under the lights in NASCAR Valley. One show brings it all together, an hour of speed news. Hello and welcome to Speed's coverage of the greatest weekend in racing. I'm Drew Johnson.
And I'm Connie LeGrand. We start with the greatest race of all, the 90th Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, and winning the Indy 500 turns drivers into legends. I've seen it make grown men cry with happiness. This year, 6 former winners in the field, but at the end, it was the future of the Andretti name versus a 2-time IRL Series champ who hadn't finished the 500-mile race until today. And it was 2.5 miles of you'll never forget racing at the end. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first the pomp and circumstance. The pre-race festivities, building the excitement. And a great field. A lot of talk about the Ganassi and Penske team. They were in row 1, but you see the Penske guys, Castroneves and Hornish, squeezing Weldon out right away. Wouldn't last. Lap 9, the defending champion Dan Weldon takes the lead from Castroneves. And then we go on board with Marco Andretti, wondering what the heck the driver of that lap car is doing as he makes his way up the running order. Lap 35. To begin the first round of pit stops, it was all sorted out. Dan Weldon maintained his 10-second lead over Hornish and Tony Kanaan. Michael Andretti lost all the lights on his steering wheel, forcing him to drive for 14 previous years of experience early in this thing. And back to Marco in 6th. An amazing save, showing everyone he is in it to win it right away. Castroneves' race continues to deteriorate. Weldon puts him a lap down on lap 58. 10 laps later, Thomas Scheckter wrecked her, hitting the outside wall and the barrier leading into pit lane. And a scary moment as Jacques Lazier, running over debris from Schechter's car, sends it into the stands. 5 fans treated and released for minor injuries. Back to racing. A long green flag run, including pit stops, Weldon in control until lap 110. Castroneves' day ends in disaster. Tries to go underneath Buddy Rice. I don't think Buddy ever saw him. Both guys out of the race. Dixon takes the lead from Weldon on lap 125. Lap 126, Hornish makes the pass on Weldon, dropping him to 3rd. 1 lap later, it's Weldon back into 2nd, passing Dixon for the lead. And how about Hornish? He wants the lead and grabs it on 129. Would lead the field. Weldon takes it back on lap 145. Back and forth, but it was Dan Weldon's day for most of the day. Al Unser Jr.'s day comes to an end when he hits debris, loses control, and hits the wall. And pit stops follow the wreck. Check this out. Sam Hornish tries to pull out of the pit with the fuel hose still in the car. Not only does he break the hose in half, runs over his crew member's foot, Hornish would get a drive-through penalty as a result. Would his day be over? We shall see. Lap 173, Dixon gets black flag for blocking Tony Kanaan. Dixon's race over with that penalty. 20 to go. Weldon and Kanaan both want the lead, swapping back and forth. Both guys, though, would have to pit. Felipe Giafoni crashes. 4 to go. Michael Andretti leads son Marco with Hornish in 3rd. 3 to go. Marco says later to Dad. And I thought good sportsmanship as Michael didn't block Sam Hornish. Final lap. Hornish tries to get Marco in 2. Looks like a 19-year-old rookie would win, right? Well, out of 4, it's Hornish. Bye to the Rook at the finish line. 2nd closest finish in Indy history. Unbelievable. Robin Miller with the winner at the Brickyard.
All right, Phil Mickelson had this reputation as the best golfer that never won a major. You won everything in the IRL, and today you put on one of the great finishes of all time. Congratulations, Phil Mickelson of auto racing. You're now the Indy 500 champ.
It's pretty unbelievable. You know, the first thing, foremost, I count my blessings every day that God has given me such a great family and friends and a wife that stuck beside me and told me that, you know, I could do it and that you can go out there and win this race. And, you know, I got to thank Marvel Team Penske as well. You know, they gave me the car to do it. You know, it was a lot of ups and downs today, but we were fast when we needed to be.
Sam, you had a disaster in the pits with fuel. You had a drive-through penalty because of that. You got run into by Townsend Bell coming to the pits, and you still won the race. Sometimes you think, you know, maybe it's just your day for a change here.
You know, I was so mad about coming into the pits, I didn't even know he hit me. So, but, you know, I figure you got to serve your penalties when you got to serve your penalties. And actually, I think that the problem with the fuel actually might have helped us out a little bit because it put us in the right position, you know, to do it at the end. You know, whether or not we would have done it, we'll never know. But, you know, it gave us great position, and then we just had to go out there and put it on the line. And coming off of 4 on the last lap, it started pushing up towards the wall. I said, I'm either going to pancake the side of it and stay on the gas to get to the finish line, or I'm going to get around him. So
the lap before, you looked like you were going to try it in 3, and you got balked, and it looks like it's over. I mean, Marco said, I thought it was his race then. Did you think I'll never get him back? It looked like you're running 20 miles an hour faster.
I thought that it was pretty close to being over, but we were just a little bit short. We were a little bit long on our gears, so we needed somebody ahead of us to be able to pull it. So, you know, I got to the inside. He didn't give me very much room, but I mean, the kid drove a heck of a race out there. And, you know, when he coming down for the line, you know, he held his line once he made the decision where he wanted to be, and you know, he's going to have a lot of great days here. I'm sure of that.
Did you know you were the winner?
I knew at the line that I was the winner, but I didn't know coming off of 4 if I was going to be or not.
Sam Hornish, the 10th winner for Roger Penske, his first victory. He's won everything in IndyCar racing. You can win. Back to you, kids.
Thank you, sir. History books will show Hornish beating a pair of Andretti's at the finish. Andretti Green actually placing 4 drivers in the top 7. The others, Kanaan and Franchitti. Last year's winner, Weldon, led 148 laps, but faded to 4th, 2 spots ahead of Ganassi Racing teammate Scott Dixon. There's Danica in 8th, followed by Sharp and Mira. Ed Carpenter in 11th was the first car a lap down. Let's hear from the other top finishers.
They showed their speed all month, you know, and it paid off for them in the end there. I think could have been really dirty and maybe put ourselves, both of us, into the wall, because I could have moved way down to the inside, but by that time he would have already made his move and it could have been bad. And yeah, I mean, I'm 19, but I don't want to wait for next year, man. I really think, I don't know, it's, you can say coulda, shoulda, woulda all day. I don't even want to think about it.
Wow, but bummer, you know? It's like so close again. I feel so bad for Marco. I drove a hell of a race all day long. I was just watching him. I was so impressed. He was patient. He drove like a champion, and I actually thought he pulled it off. He did a great move on Hornish there, and I thought Hornish lost his air enough that he couldn't catch him, but unfortunately Hornish had afterburners on there down the straightaway and got him there in the end.
Former winners Buddy Lazier and Eddie Cheever lead the next group. The other Lazier was 7 laps down in 17th. P.J. Jones came from the last row to finish 19th, ahead of Andretti Green's Brian Herta. And that late race caution brought out by Giafoni landed him 21st, just ahead of rookie Townsend Bell. Now back to Indy for more post-race reaction.
Just wasn't meant to be. We definitely had a car that was fantastic. I think Andy Brown did an excellent job giving me a good downforce level that could, that was quick out front and, you know, good in traffic, and we had that. But even when you have the best car at Indy, it doesn't mean you necessarily win.
If you look in the race, I was there the whole time. I don't think I made any aggressive move up until it was the right time. I think been watching a lot of tapes from Rick Mears and all those guys. I might learn something. I still got to finish, though, the way they did. But when it was time to go, I said, all right, then let's go race. Let's go have some fun. And we played fair and square, and I took off when I had to take off. But unfortunately, the yellow came out and hurt us a lot.
I didn't spin. I didn't do anything stupid. I got loose at 1 because I went too low and got up on the curb and almost lost it. But that's all. That's all I did wrong today. And so, you know, I'm not mad that we're 8th. I am mad that we're 8th. But I'm mad that we're 8th because we were running further up than that. And I think that if fuel strategy would have bit some other people like it bit me last year, we could have ended up 4th or 5th.
Here's a look at the final third. You'll find two-time winners Al Unser Jr. and Elio Castroneves. It's Elio's first DNF at the Brickyard and his first result lower than 9th. 2004 winner Buddy Rice was next, followed by Thomas Schechter, who showed promise early. Jeff Bucknam and P.J. Chesson crashed before completing 2 laps. Another page in history at Indy.
The checkered flag is out. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second.
If you're going to win one race in life, win the Indy 500.
It's a drag race. Marco Andretti, Hornish. Who's going to win? At the stripe. It's Hornish.
Right. Ran right.